Welcome back, boxing fans, to another great show with Sean on boxing and super week of boxing. A weekend we've been waiting for. I know I'm super stoked. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are going to be giving us some great fight cards. Obviously, a lot to pay attention to. I already bought my double header on DAZN, so I have my pay-per-view already in tow for obviously Friday's New York card, and of course Canelo's Riyadh card. Uh, we will see what happens with the Nui and Top Rank later on this week, but obviously that's a card I'm super stoked about as well. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But before we get to it, let's get to it. Welcome back, everybody. So it's going to be a great weekend of boxing. We got some fighters coming back after long hiatuses. We got some people doing things they haven't done before. And then, of course, we got some people trancing over old ground, trying to renew it. And it's going to be some interesting boxing with some interesting stories for sure. So let's get to it and we'll talk about it. Make sure you leave your comments in the comment section below. Let's chop it up and see exactly what's going on this weekend. So first off, this is a great weekend. I mean, I don't know who isn't excited about this. Not only do you have a great card from New York, really something that is historic. Never have we seen something in Times Square before, and this card is solid. I mean, if you can't find something to like with this card, Fatal Fury, I don't know what kind of boxing fan you are, because obviously there's some great matchups, some really intriguing matches, and really some 50-50 fights. It's truly a difficult prediction. I made my predictions earlier this week. I will break that down on this card as well. And let me know if you think my predictions are correct on the dot, or should I go in another direction? It's too late now, but we'll see if you agree or disagree. Then, of course, on Saturday from Saudi Arabia, Canelo Alvarez branching off into the desert to do his first fight under Fatal Fury in Riyadh season. And it seems like obviously people are super excited. You got to think about these three sort of situations. Obviously, you have something that's never been done before in New York City, which is going to get a lot of people's interest. And then, of course, Canelo going over to Saudi Arabia. People that aren't necessarily hardcore boxing fans are going to be intrigued just because Canelo Alvarez is there. A guy they all know about him. But obviously, now that he's going there, you can go see him for yourself, face to face. And it's going to grab all the stars. Don't be surprised when all the big football players, soccer players that play in Saudi Arabia all attend, and you see all kinds of faces that you're familiar with attend this event. And then, of course, in Vegas, Anui coming back for his fourth time to North America. It's been a long time coming. Obviously, it's been since COVID, so 4 years, I think, since the last time he fought in the U.S. And this fight is going to be a fun fight. It's a fun card. And there's some speculation that they are putting the blocks in place for a potential fight between Anui and Espinoza. I mean, Espinoza is not the fighter I would prefer Anui to fight at 126, just because of the huge size differences between the two of them. But nonetheless, I mean, if he goes on to beat his next few opponents, do the things that people are hoping he's going to be doing for the rest of the year, and then later next year fights Espinoza for the 126-pound WBO title, Jesus Christ, it's going to be hard for people to continue to find ways to shit on and criticize Anui if he's fighting a guy who's 6'1", with a huge reach. And I think Espinoza is going to look fantastic this weekend as well. He is a fun fighter to watch, got some power, obviously some length, and the way he puts his punches together is very entertaining. The more I watch him, the more I'm entertained by him. John Sean Boxing's in the house. Skull, Ryan, Barboza, Haney, and the Monster are winning this weekend. Well, sometimes you got to make rational fucking bets. There's no way Skull's going to win. Ryan probably is going to win. Barboza has a good shot of winning. Devin Haney most likely is going to win, and the Monster is probably going to win. I would say the biggest upset is probably the Tio Barboza fight. As far as Canelo Skull, that ain't going to be a fucking upset. Suma, what's up? Good night. Good night or hello? Is it good night for you or good night for me? Night for me must be morning for you. You got like these late night cards because then I can actually have a beer, unlike usual. But which of these three cards are you guys most excited to see? The Friday fight card from New York, the Riyadh season Canelo Alvarez debut, or Inui coming back to Vegas? Obviously, all three are fantastic. I mean, I'm looking more forward to the Inui card, which is probably the fight card that I'm going to have the hardest problems actually seeing, right? Because it being part of ESPN means it's not going to be easy for me to watch it in Taiwan. I'm going to have to probably get a illegal feed for that, unlike the other two, where I can obviously watch on DAZN live and HD. But let's jump into this and look a little closer at these fights. So obviously, this is the card, I mean, that's getting a ton of attention. A lot of attention for positives and a lot of attention for negatives. It's no surprise that Americans consistently always want to push fucking racial narratives. You got the race baiters all on this card fucking because they're all capping for Devin Haney. And, you know, of course, everything is fucking racial. He's not headlining the card because he's black. You know, he's getting tons of criticism and he's the the villain of the fight card because he's black. I mean, people just never fucking just follows the sport of boxing. There's always some narrative. All I know is that the two guys really that have been pushing this event mostly are Tio. He's been putting most of the event in. Ryan and Rolly a little bit, and Barboza, of course, has picked it up. But as far as Haney and fucking Ramirez, you couldn't find two more fucking boring motherfuckers to build up a fight. And it has nothing to do with black. It has to do with personality. Devin Haney is like a fucking wet blanket, and Ramirez is very similar. He's always been a very understated, quiet guy. So he's not the kind of guy that really gives you a lot of talking points and a lot of interest. Ryan Garcia's been pretty quiet, and Rolly as well. People really sort of felt that those two would have been really going at it a lot more. Obviously, the closer we get to the fight, the more they're going back and forth with each other. They had a little bit of a, you know, pseudo gay fucking back and forth that was a little cringeworthy between them. But Rolly's always been a fucking weird, cringy fucking dude. Ryan as well. And then, of course, the biggest fight and the biggest buildup is the headline fight, or not the headline fight, the build-up fight between Tio and Barboza, right? That's the fight where you can see real animosity between these guys. It's interesting to see, you know, I saw John Boxing making like 45 videos trying to downplay and shit on Ryan Garcia, which is kind of ridiculous because the whole point of this card happening is to build up the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney 2 fight, right? So for them to have everything pan out the way they want it to, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia are both going to have to win impressively. Also, they can move forward with their plan to do the rematch, right? And then obviously we can do the whole back and forth and the whole racial narrative and the typical like, American fucking centric type of boxing breakdown that we're going to obviously get. But with this card, you don't even need to go there. It doesn't have to be any racial fucking component because Ramirez ain't a fucking dude that pushes that kind of shit. So the fight between him and Devin Haney is just a straight up fight between two G's, right? And then, of course, you got weirdos against weirdo and weirdo against, you know, pretty straight looking guy in Barboza, who obviously finally is getting his opportunity. And it's a long time coming. He definitely deserves this chance. He's been waiting for a long time. And a lot of people are really favoring him to beat Tio. So, you know, this might be the one time you can actually pick the A-side guy and actually make money off of it. Because I think on betting night, a lot of people are going to be leaning towards Barboza to get the victory. Whereas I think the closer you get to fight night, Ryan and Devin Haney are going to be the betting odds to win both of their fights. Another exciting thing on this card, which I'm super excited about because I do follow smaller weight boxing and I do follow Japanese boxing. You have Ryota Tsutsumi, who I've talked about on my channel several times, even dating back, you know, when he was a junior world champion, which was 4 years ago or something. I talked about him and how impressed I was and mentioned his brother, who I wasn't so familiar with, but obviously learned about him since obviously he's a up and coming lightweight right now in the pros with 6 fights under his resume, solid resume as well. But his brother, Ryota Tatsumi, I call him the Japanese Lomachenko. He is a super exciting fight. I'm super stoked to see him make his debut. And it's cool that he's going to be making his debut in New York on this undercard, right? Obviously, he's going to not have to deal with a lot of pressure or interviews or attention because he's really sort of going under the radar. But for those that know, they know. And don't be surprised if he looks fucking unbelievable in this fight. And of course, his opponent is nothing spectacular, but he just signed a deal with Ring Magazine. So I'm sure they were happy to get him over to the US. Obviously, Japanese boxing fans already are very familiar with him thanks to his amateur pedigree and his brother's success in the pros. And people have been very stoked to see what he does as a professional. And I think it's going to be quick when we're talking about him potentially fighting for world titles. My predictions for these fights, if I remember correctly, I predicted Barboza with the split decision. I predicted Devin Haney with the unanimous decision. And I predicted Ryan Garcia with, I think, around a 7th round TKO. And then, of course, I have Ryota Tatsumi with a victory inside 3 rounds. I think he's just going to be way too much for this guy, and his body work and, fantastic punch position and accuracy is just going to be too much for this kid. So I would be surprised if he actually went 3 rounds, but we will see. Overall, this is a great card. I'm super excited to see the look, having this in New York, Times Square. Hopefully the weather is very good. I heard some people talking about that it was going to rain, but an event like this, obviously they're going to be covering the ring, so it won't really matter so much for the crowd. Bring a fucking umbrella, right? Wear a raincoat. It is what it is. I don't think people are paying for tickets. You're being given tickets, so there's no reason to moan and groan and fucking bitch and complain. John McSmith is in the house. Salute, my man. So what do you guys think out of this card, or out of these 3 cards? Which one are you most excited about? This New York card, the Riyadh season card, or Inouye's Top Rank Vegas card? As I said, I'm mostly stoked about seeing Inoue again because, you just can't get enough of a good thing. That's the way I like to break it down. But let's move forward with this. Then, of course, you have Canelo Alvarez in Riyadh season. I watched the, what do you call it, when all the guys walk in and get interviewed and stuff, and it was interesting. There's quite a few good young and up and coming fighters on it. The Puerto Rican kid, obviously the Mexican kid, both very good amateurs and Olympians. So it'll be interesting to see how they look on this card. And then, of course, Canelo versus Skull. I don't think Skull is going to give Canelo too much problems. I do think Canelo is going to get a stoppage in this fight, which may not be the most normal of situations. Obviously, it's been a while since Canelo actually stopped someone. Generally, he does drop people, but he hasn't really been getting people out. Wayne Evans, what's up, my man? But I think on this card against William Skull, he is going to get that stoppage. And obviously, that would be great leading into a Bud Crawford undisputed fight sometime in July or August. As far as the card, I mean, it's a solid card. You might not like William Skull as a Canelo opponent, but William Skull is a champion. The IBF mandated him, so he's a top 10, 168-pound fighter. So everyone Canelo's fighting is literally top 10. It's ironic because when people were trying to hype up Deontay Wilder, they were talking about how everybody he was fighting was a WBC ranked top 10 fighter, WBC. But the guys Canelo's fighting are all legitimate top 10 fighters in the weight class. Not WBC, not WBO, not IBF, not fucking, WBA. They are top 10 across the board. Badou Jack getting back in there. This is probably the fight I'm least interested in. Munguia against Suarza, the French guy. Obviously, the first fight was entertaining, and whew, what a fucking surprise. Nobody could have imagined Munguia getting knocked out by this fucking unknown fucking French guy. So it's going to be interesting to see what this rematch looks like. Obviously, I'm leaning towards Munguia getting the stoppage. He looked like he was close to getting the stoppage the first fight and just got caught clean. I do expect him to be better this fight. Obviously, he's working with Canelo Alvarez's trainer, and that obviously has to be better than working with Morales, because he did not look good at that fight at all. And then, of course, you have Bakoli versus Effie Ajagba, the heavyweight clash. This fight should be fucking dynamite. Two hard punching Africans trying to take each other's head off. I mean, this is Nigeria versus fucking Cameroon. There's an already built-in hostility between these two countries. If you don't watch African football, soccer, maybe you don't realize that, but there's going to be a lot of competitiveness between these two guys. And obviously, this is a fight for the king of Africa. In truth, they are obviously the two highest ranked African fighters in heavyweight boxing, if you don't count Anthony Joshua. Then, of course, you have Brian Leon and Marco Verdi. Obviously, Leon has already had 6 fights and 6 knockouts. Verdi is making his professional debut, and he is obviously a highly ranked Mexican amateur who was part of the last Olympics, and I think he won a bronze medal, if I'm not mistaken. So people are really stoked to see how he develops. Obviously, he's also working with Canelo Alvarez's trainer. So it'll be interesting to see how those fighters unfold. It's a great card overall. My biggest concern is timing. What time is it going to happen? Because for me in Taiwan, that's important, because I hate fucking staying up all night watching boxing. It takes away a lot of the fun when you're like, half asleep trying to stay awake to watch these things. It's like trying to watch Champions League football in Taiwan. It's like, fuck, man, I need to wake up 3 a.m. to watch Champions League, right? By halftime, I'm beat and ready for bed. So, this is kind of similar. I hate it. Hopefully, they moved the time. I did hear they adjusted the time to make it more beneficial for the American boxing fans. So we'll see how it works out. Hard Rock Carl says, welcome back. I have 4-day holiday and boxing weekend. Me too. Today was Labor Day in Taiwan. I took tomorrow off because what the fuck, man? I'm going to go back just for Friday? No, of course not. I'm taking that day off. Jaime, what's up? Hard Rock Carl says, good heavyweight African fight. He wasn't with Morales when he fought Sriracha. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was with Morales. He was with Morales, and then he went with Freddie Roach. He left Freddie Roach, went back to Morales, and then got knocked the fuck out. Check it. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened, because I know he wasn't with Freddie Roach. Because under Freddie Roach, he was looking good, and people were surprised that he went back to Morales. Obviously, they're both Mexican. They speak the same language, have the same culture. So it was kind of understandable. But when something's working, why you fucking go away from it, right? But wasn't it only for the Bazinian fight? Check it out. You guys got your phones. My phone is plugged in because I'm using it for Wi-Fi. For some reason, my internet is broken, the box. So I need to take it tomorrow and get checked. So I'm using my phone for internet. So my hands are free. But yeah, check it out. Let me know. I'm pretty sure it was back with Morales for the Mexican card. I'm pretty sure. Pretty fucking sure. But, nobody's right 100% of the time. And then, of course, we got the fight card of the week. This is the fight I'm excited about. Obviously, top-ranked cards are always deep. They really build up the young fighters very well. So obviously, there's a lot of young up-and-coming fighters. If you're like me, who's super fucking crazy boxing fan, you love to see these young guys and just their development. So when you talk about Vargas on this card, and then, of course, the Japanese guy, Makano, and then, of course, Polanco, who's not really a prospect right now. He's basically moving into contender status, especially with his fight versus Maidana's brother. Those are some very exciting up-and-coming fighters. Then, of course, you have Art Barrera Jr. I don't know who he is, but obviously an up-and-comer. Patrick O'Connor, I'm not sure who he is. Reese Aleem getting back into the mix. And then, of course, Espinoza Vasquez. and Nui versus Cardenas. I mean, should be a great card, exciting. Uh, I'm just curious if it's going to be like Monday morning, my time. I like when he fights out of Japan because when he fights out of Japan, then I come home at 5 o'clock and I'm in time to watch the fight cards because obviously Japan's a little bit ahead of Taiwan. So I get home at 5. The fights are already on, not the big ones. So then I can sit down and watch 3 hours of boxing from like 5 until like 8, maybe 9 o'clock. So it's perfect. But now they're fighting in the States, in Vegas. So that would mean they're going to be fighting like, you know, 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock Monday morning. I hope not, because that would be fucking shit for me. The only good thing is I don't have class on Monday morning, so I can follow it, but I can't really watch it. Are you going live for the 3 cards? I will be going live for the Friday card for sure. The Saturday card with Canelo depends on the timing. If it's like fucking 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm probably not going to. I'll probably just go live afterwards because it's hard for me to go live and have any energy at that time of the morning. And then, of course, I don't think I can for the Nui fight card because I'm probably going to be working. Was he Inui in Vegas finally? Well, not finally. He's been in Vegas already. He fought Maloney in Vegas. So it's not the first time he's been in Vegas, and it's probably not the last. Apparently, I know people are saying the tickets aren't selling like they were hoping they would, and blah, 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 blah. But I think once he landed in the States, California, and then came to Vegas, the buzz has really been fucking hyped. He's been all over social media, pictures everywhere, obviously doing all kinds of interviews. So I think he's enjoying it a lot. And I would not be surprised to see him come back pretty soon. I know he was talking about in an interview, he would love to fight, obviously, in LA, right? Potentially you could maybe do it in like Dodger Stadium, right? Which would be hyped. Obviously, the Japanese population of Los Angeles, California, would definitely come out for that. And then he was also talking about wanting to fight in Madison Square Gardens, which is kind of obviously a dream of his to fight in MSG, which, any boxer sort of wants to, hit those checkmark spots where all the guys that they watched as kids fighting, as they grew up, hoping to sort of one day be in that situation. So it'd be great to see him fight in New York. Obviously, you need a good opponent for that fight just to make it a little more interesting, but still stoked. Cardenas, I know people are not so hyped on Cardenas, but I think Cardenas is going to be a dangerous fighter. He's obviously going to be hungry. For him, this is a career opportunity, right? You think about Munguia when he got beat by the French guy, Sarache, right? He was just supposed to be a fucking step over opponent. But that's what it shows you in boxing. You can't fucking overlook dudes, man. Boxing is too dangerous, right? It only takes one clean shot to fucking end your night. 1 minute of being distracted and, all the work you put in for years is fucking out the door. So, yeah, Cardenas is definitely coming to make a name for himself. What's up, Stringer? So, what about you guys? Which of these 3 cards are you most excited about? Let me know in the comment section below. New York on Friday, Riyadh season Saturday, or Vegas on Sunday. I'm stoked. It's going to be fun. Fun times for all. What's up, J.A.? Pacers or Cavs? Uh, I think both are good teams, David, but I think the Cavs are going to win everything this year. I would love to see the Cavs versus Oak City in the final. They both deserve it. They had the best season, so it would be great. And I think the Cavs, man, they learned a lot from last year and they added to their team. They're good. Alan says Anui is easily my favorite fighter, ATM at the moment, but the New York card is intriguing. I can't wait to watch the monster back with Friday card is the best. Friday card is decent, but we should go Haney Ryan too. Should have got, well, calm down, man. Like people want everything today. It's this problem with this fucking microwave culture of today. They're building this shit up. Both dudes have been out for the ring for a year. So it's much more intriguing this way. Probably New York because all the fighters at once. Yeah. Hollow Ninja, thank you very much. You're a prince. This will be a great weekend. Eat some great food, drink something nice, kick back and watch some amazing boxing. Hope to see more projects like this for sure. And it's great that they work together, just to not step on each other's toes, right? They were talking about doing the Inui fight. Obviously, Saturday they could have done it because the time would have been different, but they felt they didn't want to kind of step on Canelo's toes. So they decided to do it on Sunday after the Dodgers game, and they just figured they could piggyback those together on ESPN, which is perfect as long as that fucking Dodgers game doesn't go too long, and then ESPN will fucking butcher shit like they always do. Al Rudo says, which fight do you think is the best this weekend? Which fight? The best matchup or potentially the most exciting fight? I think the most exciting fight could potentially be Inui versus Cardenas or Espinoza versus Vasquez. But I think the best matchup is probably Barboza versus Tio. I don't know if it'll be an exciting fight because Barboza could really make it ugly. But obviously, I think it's the most competitive, close to 50-50. We know the only reason they picked Ramirez is because many feel he's a shot fighter at this point. I think he still has enough to get that soft chin Haney. Well, he's got everything he needs to beat Devin Haney, right? Obviously, he's got a very good left hand. He's got good amateur pedigree. He's big and physical, so being at 147 should suit him well. But for Devin Haney, obviously he's the faster fighter, younger fighter. So it'll be interesting to see how he looks against Ramirez. I think Tio Barboza, then Munguia versus Sarache. Well, I think Munguia is going to beat Sarache easy, even though when you listen to Sarache yesterday, they interviewed, you can see he's got that world title champion kind of confidence now. I know he didn't win a world title, but for him, it was kind of like winning a world title. Going to Mexico, nobody caring about you or taking you serious. You go in there and fucking get the knockout. Right now, he's thinking he's the man. Obviously, he got a lot more money thrown into his camp, a lot more time to train. Obviously, far more dedicated than he probably was prior. Ryan versus Rolly is an okay fight. It's not something the fans want. It's not something the fans want? What do you mean? It's totally what fans want. Ryan Garcia, Rolly, two big mouth fuckers, both limited. That fight is the most likely fight to end up with a KO, right? Because both guys can punch, yet both guys are so fucking wild. And their defense is both, has huge holes in it. So if you're going to predict the fight to get a knockout, that's the fucking fight, 100%. And come on, let's be fair. Like that fight's going to be way more entertaining than a Ryan Garcia fucking Devin Haney fight will be, especially if Devin Haney's going to win a fight. He's going to make the fight boring. It's not going to be like the first fight because there's no way Devin Haney is going to go to war and think he's going to win a fight because that's not his style. Ryan and Rolly's the battle of the douchebags. Exactly. Everyone's going to be happy with one of those guys getting knocked out. It don't matter which one, right? I see John Boxing acting as if somehow people love Ryan Garcia, and it's so unfair that people love him and are hating on Devin Haney. It's like who's loving Ryan Garcia? Literally, I mean, if you talk about somebody that's the villain Ryan Garcia, regardless of what he does or says, nobody's looking at him as fucking some hero. I'm not looking at Devin that way either. You can have two douchebags and you can have two fucking villains. It's okay. Which fight is the opinion has the most chance for an upset? Definitely Barboza Tio. definitely Barboza Tio. I mean, so much so that in my prediction, I'm picking Barboza to get the close victory. It's generating very little buzz in New York. Really? I can't imagine it's not getting big buzz in New York because it's all over social media. I live in Taiwan and it's all over my social media, right? So I find it hard to believe if you're in New York with posters everywhere, it's going to be fucking right in the downtown section. I can't imagine that it's not getting buzz, but okay. For Ryan Haney Teal, I cashed out of that. I don't trust Ryan. Fatal Fury press conference must look like a kindergarten. That's created narrative. No one likes Ryan. Nobody likes Ryan. I mean, we respect the fact that Ryan got some talent, but then we also think he's wasting his talent because he's a fucking idiot, right? I mean, in truth, if you wanted to say who's got more talent, Ryan or Haney, I would lean towards Ryan. He's got more natural talent, but Devin Haney is far more professional, far harder worker, and generally that's what is successful in sports. Not the guy with necessarily the best tools, but the guy that works the hardest. So, you got to favor Devin Haney based on his professionalism and hard work. But Ryan Garcia, his speed in his left hand, people are born with that. It's just unfortunate that he's pissing it away, being a fucking idiot. By the time he realizes that he had these tools, he's going to throw away most of his career. I think it's hilarious. What's up, Sean? What's up, Garden Snake? Um, but overall, I mean, all talk is good, right? Anything that goes back and forth is positive for these events. Obviously, the Canelo Alvarez situation in Riyadh, I mean, Americans are going to downplay it and dismiss it because they're not fans of Canelo anyway. And they're trying to downplay and dismiss Riyadh season anyways as well. So, any reason for them not to pay attention to a card in Riyadh. But, uh, as boxing fans, I don't get this kind of mentality from people. It just doesn't make sense to me. Not at all. What's up, Bruce Gas? I figure, fuck, man. If you're a fan, you're a fan. That's what it comes down to. Do you think Derek James can develop Ryan's right hand into a real threat? It's not even so much that he needs to have a right hand as a threat, but he just gotta use it just to fucking mask his left hand, and he's got to use his jab, right? And the biggest thing he needs to do is fucking defensively be better because that shoulder roll is terrible, fucking ugly, and he stands up way too straight with his chin in the air, and it's only a matter of time before he gets fucking caught with a big hook, right? And I don't think that's going to be against Rolly Romero, but that is definitely Rolly Romero's the kind of punch that he throws. So it'll be interesting. It's funny seeing BFTB and the LDBC in front row at press conferences acting a fool, yelling at Ryan and his dad. Oh, really? Are they doing that? That's not a surprise. That's not a surprise. That's why fucking people look at the LDBC like fucking clowns. These guys bring ghetto culture to boxing. But unfortunately, ghetto culture isn't what any sport fucking needs, not to be successful. I mean, what you do is you alienate yourself from 90% of the sports fucking fan base by pushing that kind of stupidity, right? Be professional. If you're trying to be media, fucking try to act the part. Where do you see that? I think Rolly and Ryan is going 12. Ryan is soft. Oh, come on. Ryan is soft, but yet he still has a great KO rate. So it's not about him being soft. It's about him landing a fucking left on Rolly. That's all it's going to take. One big left, and that's all she wrote. But, it should be fun. Should be fun. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who would ever give BFTV fucking credentials for a boxing event. Like, if you ever watch his channel, there's nothing professional about him. The dude fucking Devin Haney fucking fanboy. The LDBC is. Like, those dudes are just cringe. They're exactly like fucking boxing, knockout boxing, fucking with Ryan Garcia, with Tank Davis. You can't take these fucking guys serious, man. I think Inui knocks out Cardenas is more likely. Yeah, but David, it's more likely that Ryan and Inui are going to knock out their opponents, right? That's a pretty high fucking percentage of both of those things happening. Stringer from above, it was on one of the BFTV streams. I believe it was live. I'm putting paper on Barboza. You should too. Yeah, that's what I said. That's my upset of the weekend is Barboza over Teo. If Teo wins, congratulations for him. That would be a great win, especially if he's able to do it in the kind of fashion he did against Loma and Taylor. But we will see. It's more likely for him that he's just going to look fucking ugly, not throw enough punches, and lose a close decision. Barboza will counter Teo all night long. Knockout 8-6 has good boxing knowledge, though. Yeah, and that's why it's a shame that he went away from talking about boxing to only dick riding Tank Davis, right? Like literally, he sold his soul for fucking paper, right? And if Tank Davis does retire at the end of this year, where did it get him? Because next year, who's he going to talk about? Errol Spence is fucking irrelevant. Tank Davis is going to be irrelevant. Who's he going to fucking dick ride after that? Can't dick ride Devin Haney because he's been the antithesis to the LDBC. The LDBC is dick riding Devin Haney. He's dick riding Tank Davis. And they utilize each other to fucking go back and forth to get all the stupid subscribers that follow their channels to fucking buy into it. The soap opera. I don't want anything to mess up this rematch. It would be devastating. Why would it be devastating? It is what it is. Fights get messed up all the time because fighters don't win. If you're a Devin Haney fan, then okay, maybe then you're really invested in Devin Haney getting his revenge. But outside of that, it's not a fight that's really going to be a great fight to watch anyway. For Devin Haney to win, it's going to be a boring fight because that's how he's going to have to fight to beat Ryan Garcia. Teo is a flake. I don't consider him a favorite in most matchups. He's a flake, but talented, right? And that's the problem with him. He talks his way into fights, but unfortunately then his performance is kind of like Shakur Stevenson. They just leave you fucking disappointed. The narrative I keep hearing is Ryan looks a lot more slender and not so muscular at the bigger weight. Yeah, I saw that side-by-side picture people were showing as well. KO definitely knows his boxing, but I can't watch the Tank content anymore. If you can't watch the Tank content, then you can't watch his channel because all he fucking does is Tank content. Literally, all he does is fucking Tank content. That's the problem. You have these fight cards happening this weekend, but if you watch his channel, you wouldn't fucking know anything was going on, right? Literally. Oscar standing up, talking to Bill Haney was so scripted. Springwater Boxing, what's up? Today, a tough L is only a road bump in the big picture, not a death sentence. Well, that's it, man. If you lose a fight, but you impress, then it don't even matter. You're just as likely to get bigger opportunities thrown into your lap afterwards. Actually, sometimes it might be more beneficial because if you go in there and win and look unbeatable, there's chances guys are just going to duck you and not want to fight you. But if you go in there and you lose a great fucking competitive fight that's up there for fight of the year, you're guaranteed to fucking get offers. You're going to get fights thrown into your lap right away, right? You're not going to worry about not being given fights. Unfortunately, if you're one of those slick fighters that win fights that aren't so exciting, you're the kind of fighter that even if you're undefeated, you still fucking can't get fights. Look at Shakur. Zerto versus Opataya, Ryan versus Dev, Bivol versus Benavidez. I hope all get made this year. Yeah, but why do you care so much about those fights? Why those fights? Because Zerto's not going to fight Opataya. Ryan and Dev are going to fight as long as they win. And Bivol versus Benavidez isn't going to happen as well, right? Not this year. Why would Bivol fight Benavidez this year? He's going to fight Beterbiev in July or August, maybe September at the latest, and then may not fight again for the year. And if he does fight again in the year, it's probably not going to be against fucking Benavidez. right? It would probably be more against a guy like Canelo Alvarez or his mandatory. Who's the guy that he's mandated to fight? Some German guy or somebody? I can't even remember. But yeah. Yeah, Pitbull lost to Tank and made a name off of it. Yeah. So the reality of the situation is, I mean, stylistically, Ryan and Dev probably in the fight to watch anyway. Bivol versus Benavidez. If Bivol's going to win, it's not going to be that exciting of a fight. Zurdo versus Opataya, that fight ain't going to happen. Zurdo's going to probably, maybe it's going to be Opataya. Opataya will probably fight fucking Badu Jack if he wins, because they're both sort of under Riyadh's season. That's a unification fight. So look forward to that fight to potentially happen. And Zurdo probably going to fight fucking David Benavidez. Disappointing. Well, it's not that it's not going to happen, but there's tons of fights happening. We've never had it so good with the fights that are getting made consistently. We're getting dropped new fights like every week. Like already on my phone, I got a bunch of fights that have already been confirmed. Obviously, I was going to talk about it later, but there's just tons of fights dropping every day. And because they're good fights, but not fucking these unbelievable cards, they almost go under the radar because it's like, yeah, that's good, but it's like normal. So just because it's normal, it's nothing even to get excited about. Now you're getting these kind of great fucking cards, historical matchups in historical places. I mean, a lot more interesting shit's going on. PBC will never let Benavidez get anywhere close to Bivol Beterbiev. Of course they won't. Just like fucking Funduro. What's going on with Funduro? I thought Funduro was going to fight his 2 unified titles against fucking the Puerto Rican kid, who's his WBO mandatory, right? And of course, PBC and Top Rank are now going to work together because they're both shunning fucking Saudi money. Shunning Saudi money. Like, if that's not the stupidest business decision ever. If you're a promoter and you can get Saudi money, you're going to fucking put your fighters in to fights with Saudi Arabia, because you are going to get paid more money as the promoter than you would otherwise for doing nothing and taking no risk. And for your boxers, they're going to get career high paydays as well. Now we're going to get Funduro versus Tim Tszyu, as if that's a fight everybody was asking for. No, it's not. Tim Tszyu was brutalized versus fucking Murtazaliev. So why doesn't Funduro fight Murtazaliev? Oh, I know, because it's not a fucking PBC fucking retread fight, because that's what the PBC wants to do. Plant versus Charlo, fucking all these retread fights. Spence versus fucking Mario Barros. It's like, oh my God. Like, and then you're going to charge us $85 for fucking fights nobody fucking cares about. Nobody is asking for. David Benavidez is going to fight Jesse Hart for $85 pay-per-view to defend his WBC title. In a fight card, PBC fanboys are going to act like it's must watch. It's not his fault that Bivol ducked him. Yeah, okay. He could have guaranteed himself a Bivol fight, but he chose to fucking go in the different route to get an email title. I agree, Sean. Why aren't we getting Thurman versus Tszyu? At this point, that's the fight they were building up, right? They are only making this Tim Tszyu Funduro fight because they don't want to work with an outside promoter. So they're going to drop the WBO title, which means that's fine. Top Rank don't care. Like, ask me if Top Rank cares that their fighter is going to fucking get a title. Of course they don't care. They always get the WBO title. So now it's just going to plan. And they didn't have to fucking fight a dangerous fighter, potentially for unification, and pay way more money. Now they don't have to pay any money. They'll get their fighter a fucking title, and then they can see how things move from there. Murtazaliev and Ramos should fight. But PBC ain't going to have Ramos fight. Ramos is going to be thrown into that Tim Tszyu Funduro fucking matchup of PBC fighters. Today, Kevin Lerna and Rodchenko is almost ready to start right now. Zoo shouldn't be getting a title shot off of beating Spencer. Of course he shouldn't. Fucking Spencer's a bum. A bum. But, that's the PBC. Funduro got knocked out, ended up fucking walking into a Tim Zoo fucking world title fight, right? Rolly Romero got knocked out by Tank Davis, walked into a fucking WBA world title fight. Like, the fact that these PBC fighters consistently still walk into world title fights coming off of losses. They wanted Errol Spence coming off of a brutal knockout and a long inactivity to step him and face fucking Funduro as if he deserved the fucking world title fight. Like, come on, man. And I ain't hating. Like, people go, well, Lomachenko got a fight with George Kambosos. Yeah, he didn't get fucking beat and knocked out in his previous fight. He lost to Devin Haney in a controversial fight where most people feel he won. He didn't get knocked the fuck out. He didn't get sparked, right? And because the fight was so competitive, all 4 sanctioning bodies ranked him number 1 across the board. So, of course, the first time an opportunity opened for a world title fight, he was guaranteed that because even the sanctioning bodies recognized how close that fight was. That's much more different than dudes fucking getting knocked out and then walking into world title fights, right? Knocked out. You got sparked out and you're walking into a world title fight. And 2 of those examples I gave you weren't even at the division. They were divisions up. So you got knocked out at a lower division and now you're moving to a higher division to get a world title in your first fucking crack. Come on, man. Come on. Thank you very much, Garden Snake Mentality. Don't Hate says, do you believe Manny coming out of retirement to fight Amir Khan? Well, apparently he's not fighting Amir Khan. Apparently he's going to fight fucking Mario Barros, another PBC fucking retread fight. I'm a Pacquiao fan, but do I want to see Pacquiao fight for a fucking WBC title against Mario Barros for $85 on pay-per-view? Fuck no. I don't want to see Pacquiao fight ever again. And I'm a huge fan. Nobody has dominated Lomachenko. I don't mind Loma getting a title shot, but to have it against Kambosos was ridiculous. Basically a free title shot. Well, Kambosos was a legitimate top 10 fighter. Just because he lost 2 fights to Devin Haney? Devin Haney was pound for pound number 2 on John Boxing's rankings. So, if you lose to him, it's not the worst thing in the world. I know guys get title shots off of losses. We just saw it with Gary Antoine Russell, exactly. But like you said, and see, it's all PBC fighters consistently. Tim Tszyu got absolutely annihilated by Bakram. Annihilated, another PBC fighter. Consistently, these PBC fighters fucking coming off of knockout losses walk into world title fights. Right? All fucking in fights that nobody asked for and nobody's looking forward to, right? Like fucking Barros versus Pacquiao. Nobody wants to see that fight. Not even fucking Filipinos. Shame they just can't do Manny versus Floyd rematch exhibition. That would make more sense. But because the first fight was so fucking terrible and almost ruined boxing, they just don't want to go there again, even though it probably would do good numbers. But to watch a fight that nobody want to fucking sit through again. No bueno. Wayne Evans says that was the original undisputed fight before Russia invaded Ukraine. That's why it was made. Exactly. Plus, he beat Tio, who beat Loma, so it had that significance as well. But that's it. When he was supposed to fight George Kambosos, it was before Devin Haney stepped in and did what he had to do to get the fight, which is agree to the terms Lomachenko agreed to. And because he did that, he got the fight and then moaned and fucking groaned. And his fanboys all said, oh, it's so unfair. He was treated so unfairly. Well, what do you mean? How should he be treated? He's a guy that had an email title and he was being given fucking an undisputed world title fight against a guy whose best win came against Lomachenko in Tio. And then he went in there and fucking beat Tio's ass. and did it very convincingly, the best win of his career. But sometimes you need one big win in your career, and one big win guarantees you many follow-up fights. Example, now George Kambosos, coming off of a knockout loss to Lomachenko, is walking into a Richard Hitchinson's fucking world title fight. I know he ended up having some mediocre wins since then, but like, does anybody really want to see Kambosos fight Richard Hitchens? I mean, Richard Hitchens is not the most exciting fighter to watch at all. And we just expect him to go in there and outbox fucking Kambosos in a boring fight to defend his title, instead of fighting the guy that we wanted to see him fight, who was Subriel Matias, who he ducked. Or unification fight, right, against Russell. Loma should have stopped him then too. Oh, Loma would have stopped him, yeah. You're seeing the videos about Inoue on Top Rank channel, showing respect and asking for autographs. I guess he is big in the US. Well, that's the thing, man. Inoue is big, but big for a superstar in the US, or big because boxing fans are big fans of yours, right? You're going to have boxing fans and Japanese fans that are going to be obviously stoked that Inoue is close and they can go see him and watch him train and listen to interviews and get him to sign like their shoes. But is he a crossover star right now in the US? No, right? I don't know if general sports fans are that aware that he's fighting in states, or if they even know who he is. And, so obviously he's probably not there right now, but he doesn't need to be, because he's got his market. His market's fucking huge. He makes millions and millions and millions of dollars. He would have made more money fighting in Japan against Cardenas than he's making fighting in Vegas. So he's not doing this because of money. I haven't heard about Inoue in America at all, but I'm on the East Coast. Yeah, see, even though social media, man, come on, you're a boxing fan. All your stuff should show, like, how computers are controlled, right? Like, whatever you look on your computer, that's the stuff they give you. So if you follow boxing, I can't believe through your social media stuff you're not getting all kinds of Inoue shit all over. Because I live in Taiwan and I'm being flooded with Top Rank Inoue shit consistently. Outside of Japan, the best place for Inoue to fight in terms of popularity is the UK. Yeah, well, that's it, right? He's already fought once in the UK. I think if he went back to the UK, he could easily do the O2 Arena, right, against Nick Ball. That would be a huge event. And that's good, man. Yep, UK, go spark Nick Ball, exactly. The algorithm, exactly. You know how it is. If you're looking for something all the time, that's what they're going to feed you. If you're not looking for it, then it's hard for you to find it, right? I don't have much stuff on my channel looking at cars, because I don't really look at cars. But motorcycles, dogs, Asian bitches, boxing, NBA, Liverpool, that shit's everywhere, right? Haters thought he wouldn't sell the card, so I'm happy that we proved them wrong again. Yeah, but they're criticizing because it doesn't look like it's going to be a sellout, right? I think that place holds 18 to 20,000 people. And I think the last numbers I heard, which were probably 2, 3, 4 days ago, was 12,000 people have bought tickets. But then I heard today that they maybe overpriced the tickets, right? And maybe that's why tickets have been slow to go. But this weekend with the build up of the fights and all of that, that's when a lot of the tickets are going to be sold as well. So I think if he sells 15,000 tickets in Vegas against Cardenas, that's fucking good. Like, what American boxing fighter right now could go to Vegas and fight a unknown fucking Mexican guy like Cardenas and sell 15,000 tickets? You're going to say, who? Tank Davis. He already did it. Okay, so Tank Davis. And then who? Just Tank Davis, right? Maybe you could name 2 or 3 more. But like for Inoue, who's huge in Japan, is a Japanese-based fighter, to go to Vegas and sell 15,000. And obviously it's going to get good viewership numbers on ESPN, because they're trying to piggyback it off of the Dodgers game. All the Japanese Americans are going to be all over it. So it should do well. What did I just see? They were talking about the fight card that just happened, and what did it do? 650,000 pay-per-view buys, and people were saying, "Oh, fucking Eubank and Ben, we're downplaying that and pissing it off and saying, this and that." But 650, not bad, and the rematch guaranteed to do more, guaranteed to do more. So potentially pushing like 800,000, and neither one of those guys are big fucking superstars. If you could go to one of the upcoming fights, which would you pick? I'd go to Vegas for Inui. That's not bad for a guy in Japan. No, man, it's not. Especially since he hasn't been in Japan since fucking COVID, and obviously he's at a whole different point of his career right now. Eubank Ben made over 1 million buys. Is UK the face of boxing? More than 1 million. I saw 650, but what did you read? It's not the Tokyo Dome at 55,000. No, it's not. Harder coil, if that's true, yes, UK does huge numbers. Ben got to be ringside in New York trying to get a Ryan fight. Oh, I heard that, but it's like, whatever, man. Whatever. That dude, he's lucky if he won 4 rounds against fucking Chris Eubank, right? He's not a good fighter. I made that prediction and I was confident he was going to get easily outboxed, and that's what happened. He easily got beat in that fight. I was glad to see Eubank win. His walkout was great too. UK, America, Mexico, Japan are the 4 most dominant. Well, I know you're underestimating Russia because obviously you don't see a lot of the fight cards in the US, but Russia consistently has boxing cards all the time. Consistently, right? What was it? RK Boxing used to be on YouTube all the time as well. So you could watch all those events live on YouTube consistently. I don't know what's happened to them because they're not putting out events anymore, but Russia's still putting out events fucking all the time. Every month there's boxing going on. So they're putting out lots of fights and they got lots of potentially big fighters. Obviously, they just had the Kovalev fight that was in Russia recently as well. He's a money fighter, and a fight with Ben would be money. I wish I go to London for Dubois versus you too. Well, that's not part of the fights he's talking about, but yeah, I would definitely go to the UK for a fight like that, especially a big one. Dubois, Usyk 2. That'll be a great fight, even though I think Usyk is going to beat Dubois' ass. Dubois is going to be more aggressive this time, and that's potentially dangerous. Do you think Canelo versus Benavidez ever going to happen this year? Because Canelo getting old and can retire. I don't think it's going to happen this year. No fucking chance is it going to happen this year. No fucking chance. Maybe if Benavidez wouldn't have just fucking rubbed shit in Turkey's face with this whole Bivol situation, maybe he potentially could have been getting the fight in 2026. But now that he did that, I don't think he's fucking ever going to get a fucking sniff of Canelo Alvarez. And he'll be lucky if he gets a sniff of fucking Bivol, right? But they're going to say, oh, well, he needs Benavidez for undisputed. He's already been undisputed. He don't need fucking that anymore. He did it. And then you chose to fucking go behind his back like a fucking snake to get an email title instead of fucking do what they had set up to do, which would have benefited you as well and give you an opportunity to become undisputed. But you said, fuck you guys. We were going to ruin your plan. And so now they're going to say, fuck you. We're going to ruin your plan. Keep your WBC title, shove it up your ass, and see who you're going to fight. Not Smith, not Yard, not Canelo, not Bivol. Who are you going to fight? Fucking Jesse Hart? He's going to go up to cruiserweight to fight Zurdo. And that fight's okay. It's not bad. But it's no fucking Canelo. I got Dubois in the rematch. No way. He's getting his ass smoked. Speaking of Dubois, Usyk, do you like Dubois being the villain, trying to get under Usyk's skin and a good thing? Oh, it's a stupid thing. If it didn't work for fucking Tyson Fury, why is it going to work for you? First of all, fucking Dubois is thick. So he has to have his fucking manager do it because he's too thick to fucking string a sentence together to try to make it entertaining anyway. No, that's pointless. It would have been better just to be fucking quiet, be nice, take the fight, and then try to fucking maybe catch him off of guard, overestimating you, or sorry, underestimating you. Usyk should punish Dubois and his team for acting like cowards for that low blow controversy. Well, and them acting like Usyk fucking robbed them. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, it was ruled a fucking low blow. And after it's ruled a low blow, he can fucking sit there and take 5 minutes all he wants. Do you think Benavidez really wants to fight or no? And why I always blame Canelo? Well, that's it. I don't think he wants to fight. PBC is happy to fucking have a title they can con people into and act like they really are the ones that everyone's ducking. Also, they can fucking justify bullshit pay-per-view fights against bum-ass opponents no one cares about, right? Look for them to fucking pull some old-ass fucking fighter, who he's going to pull Charlo up to fucking light heavyweight to fight Benavidez for his title. Look for that. That's fucking more likely to happen, right? If Charlo beats fucking Plant, look forward to him being pulled up to fight Benavidez for his WBC world title. That's way more likely than a fucking Bivol or a Canelo fight. I wonder if Dubois is going to be afraid of beating a white man in Saudi. Well, the fight's not going to be in Saudi. It's going to be in the UK. If Canelo and Benavidez did happen, how much pay-per-view are they going to make? At this point, I think that would easily do 1 million pay-per-view. I mean, if Berlanga did 650, then Benavidez, with the hype behind it and the real animosity, the real animosity between the two of them, it should definitely do 1 million. But will it do more than Canelo and Bud Crawford? I don't know if it do more than that. We will see. Because I think the Bud Crawford Canelo fight is going to easily do 1 million as well. But either way, these are all great fights, right? Like, I mean, as boxing fans, we going to complain when they keep giving us fights like this? Some people will, because some people are just haters. People think Canelo Bud does more pay-per-view than Tank Ryan, but I don't know. Well, let's be fair. It could easily do 1.4, right? Canelo did 6-5 versus Berlanga, and that's not because Berlanga fucking had a huge fan base and was a real opponent that people were thinking was going to do great things. Bud Crawford versus Canelo, depending on how it impacts casual fans, could easily do 1.4. Easily, right? And because it's DAZN, it's not going to be American based. It's going to be global. So based on that, you have more chances to do bigger numbers as well, right? When Ryan and Tank did their numbers, it's only in the American market, right? Only pay-per-view in the US. But when Canelo fights Bud Crawford, it's going to be global. So they should easily do 1.4 million, I think. But then you get the Americans who tend to be so fucking anti Saudi Arabia. People just keep their money in their pocket, even though the pay-per-view is also going to be cheaper. It's not going to be fucking $85 as well. So, like, I already bought my pay-per-view for this weekend's cards. Let's check this out for a second since we're here. I'm just curious what time they're going to say for the Canelo fight in Taiwan. Sorry. 11 o'clock and I'm yawning already. So let's see what time that shit pops off. But yeah, I mean, the reality is the only people making a big deal about that are Tank Davis fans because they're trying to justify Tank Davis as the face of American boxing. But Jake Paul is more the face of American boxing than fucking Tank Davis is. And that's not because I favor Jake Paul and I hate Tank Davis. It's just Jake Paul events fucking are kicking ass. Effie Ajagba Bakoli has flown under the radar. That's true, but that's because it's in Saudi Arabia. Americans, they're not even talking about fucking anything, right? That's happening outside the US. These dudes, man, consistently looking for reasons to hate. So Friday, oh, okay. So tomorrow, the Friday fight's not going to be for me. It's going to be Friday. So Saturday morning, my time. Pat McAfee ring show. Fucking Showbiz. Did you guys watch Showbiz's fucking interview with Devin Haney? Fuck, man. Showbiz is cringe as fuck. Literally, the dude's cringy, man. Cringe. Cringe as fuck. He talks about himself more than he talks about the boxers. He was just like, shut up, man. Like, no one fucking cares about you. People are listening to you interview Devin Haney. Nobody wants to listen to you fucking talk about your bullshit about fucking you drink coffee and this and that. It's like, oh my God. But yeah, so my time, Ryan Garcia is going to be fighting. Well, the card starts at 5 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning for me, which means Canelo is Sunday. What time Sunday? Ah, good. Okay. It's going to start like 6 o'clock. So I'm going to be up at like 6 o'clock on Saturday morning and Sunday morning. And then, of course, the Nui. That's good, though. They moved the time, so it works out better for me. It's not so fucking early. So nice. I can't take someone who wears a taco hat seriously. Black two sugars. Like, I'm happy all these dudes like McAfee, the fucking Newcastle fucking dude from England, Showbiz, are all getting lots of opportunities to make money doing boxing. But like the dude from the UK, I like him, but he don't know shit about boxing. Obviously, fucking Showbiz knows boxing, but he's so fucking cringe. He's just trying to fucking be the dude that everybody likes, right? But then you're gonna have guys that don't like him because he's just too, oh, fucking like a clown. Dude's a clown. I like Showbiz too, but he's biased sometimes. I don't dislike him though. I found Showbiz channel back in 2020 during COVID. He was okay, but even then, I just didn't vibe with him. Wish him the best, just not my cup of tea, so to speak. Yeah, that's how I felt. I watched the stuff and I'm just like, oh, everything is trying to be fucking like a variety show, right? Singing, dancing, fucking Muppets, Mr. Rogers fucking for boxing. It's like, really, man? Like, just shut the fuck up. Like, we don't need the clown show. We need more boxing content, right? That's it. Like, even Ring IQ, I like Ring IQ, but his lives, they're often many tangents. You got everyone else talking, and I'm just like, yeah, I fucking lost interest 10 minutes ago because there's not enough boxing talk. I prefer they have topics and they fucking specifically hit it, give everyone a chance to talk, and then move to the next topic, not just fucking ramble on aimlessly. I don't watch Showbiz, but he's obviously doing something right. Well, he's the kind of guy that I guess casual sports fans can watch for boxing because you don't need to know anything about boxing to watch his channel. I like the underground channels like you and JB. Yes, Sesame Street boxing is Showbiz. Yeah, yeah. Like he's gonna fucking dress up like fucking Big Bird and fucking run into the ring, right? And want to spar. And then even his haircut, it's like, dude, you got like a fucking faux hawk and you're like 40 years old. Like, he don't have the best style, but that's okay. Not everyone has great style, but whatever. Whatever. I prefer if it was knockout boxing that was on these channels. The problem with him is he's killing himself, shooting himself in his foot because all he does is dick ride Tank Davis. So he has to hope fucking the PBC does something similar. And then for sure he can get on representing the PBC. because at least he's not like fucking BFTB and fucking the rest of those LDBC guys, which you would never put in front of a camera. I can't even believe that one channel, the Bud Crawford fight, they had fucking what's his face, Blue Blood on their channel. Blue Blood got a face for radio. No fucking TV channel that wants fucking to talk about boxing is putting that guy on as a fucking boxing expert. But they're hoping because he's got lots of followers on his channel that somehow that's going to transition. Oh my God. Really? Okay. Showbiz got that Rodney Dangerfield. He does. Jay, me too. I used to watch the Showbiz, but unsubscribe because he only talks about the same fighters. Well, and that's so many of these American channels, right? Like they know which fighters get traction. So all they do is talk about those fighters because those are the fighters that get this channel traction. That's why Knockout only talks about fucking Tank. That's why the LDBC mostly only talks about Devin Haney. And before that, fucking Spence. And before that, Wilder, right? And then you get a bunch of other guys that are similar. Like, they know that if they talk about boxing as a whole, the people that follow their channel, subscribe to them, aren't really that hardcore into boxing. They like fucking the racial narratives. They like fucking the same old drama show bullshit, specifically centered around American-based fighters. They don't really care about UK or fighters in Japan or smaller weight fighters. They mostly want to talk about guys from 168 to 135, right? In there. And anyone else off fucking limits. Can't talk about any of them. Knockout talks about all the fights on his membership channel. Oh, okay. So that's what he does. So all the stuff when he used to talk about real boxing, now he just does it on his membership channel. And then he just floods his normal channel with fucking Stank Davis shit consistently. Because he knows where he's making his money is with Tank Davis. His membership are only for a small select few of people that are hardcore boxing fans. And even then, I'm sure when you go in there, it's probably mostly fucking lives talking about Tank Davis because most of his members are always going to swerve towards the PBC narrative and the racially fucking, unfortunately, we're being fucking mistreated narrative, kind of like Dante and Ego. Garden Snake says, what can you deal with more? Showbiz dressed up like Ronald McDonald or Blue Blood Sports telling you the height and reach of Devin Haney. He's trying to be professional, though, right? Knockout isn't racially biased. He is, because he's a PBC fucking shill. PBB shill. He'll shit on every other promoter fucking in the world. Go out of his way to crap all over fucking Turkey al-Sheikh and Saudi Arabia to try to fucking justify why it's fucking no good, all to bring it back to America. But when he's talking about America, he's talking about fucking Black America. You can say he's not racially biased, but his content fucking completely shows the opposite. Is he like the LDBC or Dante and Ego? No. I'm not accusing him of that. I never have. But he is a PBC shill. And the PBC fighters that he shills for, fucking black PBC fighters. Like whatever happened to the big hype that he used to have for Bam Rodriguez. He never talks about Bam anymore. Never. Don't talk about that guy anymore because the people that follow his channel don't fucking follow Bam. Don't support Bam. He ain't a fucking fan of Benavidez. Stop. He's a hater of Canelo. He ain't a fan of Benavidez. I watch his channel from fucking the first time he opened his channel fucking consistently. And I never saw him fucking really saying shit about David Benavidez. He only fucking PBC. Bam, he don't talk about him anymore. Because now he only talks about Tank Davis. Knockout part of the LDBC hypocrites. He's the antithesis, right? He is the Tank Davis fan. They are the Devin Haney fan. And then they have the back and forth between them. BFTB on this side, Knockout Boxing on this side, right? And then his fans can go back and forth. Their fans can go back and forth to see this dust up between the culture. KO86. Who are you all talking about? As much as I'm a boxing fan, I only got skin in the game with Eastern Europeans are fighting. Uh, but even then, if you don't pay attention to all the great boxers in the sport, then down the road you're going to end up missing out great matchups. You're just not going to be interested in great matchups, right? Boxing is great. It's all drama. I know. From America, it's all drama, all a drama show. But there's a lot more to boxing than just that. That's just what the American fucking boxing fans and the YouTubers that are trying to profit off of it are pushing, right? That's what they're pushing. They push that because they know this racially fucking charged fucking American shit is what people buy into. The same people you see on fucking TikTok videos fucking saying kill Whitey, right? That you owe us fucking reparations, right? It's the same fucking group of people, the same fucking narrative, and they just amp that shit up. Defund the police. Police always fucking accosting the poor black man. Okay. That is what the media shows you. That's what the media is shoving down your throat consistently. The media is at fault because they're flaming the fires of racial fucking hate between blacks, whites, Asians, and everybody else because they want the country to be distable. They don't want America to be stable. They want it to be unstable. So they continuously push all this bullshit. Have you done a take on LeBron and Luka getting booted first round? Not yet, but it's no surprise. On my basketball channel, I did predict that they were going to lose, so it doesn't come as a shock. They don't have a good bench. They don't have a big man. They were limited, right? You're going to rely on LeBron and Luka to hopefully carry you through the playoffs. And I thought, well, maybe they could carry you through one round, but I think Minnesota was a bad matchup to begin with. It'll be interesting to see what else goes on. Obviously, the East is going pretty much prescript. The only one difference is Detroit's playing better than expected, right? Giving New York a tough matchup. Denver looks like they're going to scrape through. The fact that Porter and Murray were playing so shit, I wasn't too sure if they were going to be able to get through. Golden State, they look like they're getting through. We'll see. But yeah, first round, I don't over worry about it too much because it is what it is. You're going to have some shit happen in the first rounds, and then I'm just interested to see what happens next. Orlando Magic, one player away from beating Boston. Oh, yeah, sure they are. They fucking need a guard that could fucking actually play. Lakers should focus on getting good defenders for the next season. But it's not even that. They need a big man so they can fucking pick and roll and set Luka up for those fucking nasty alley-oops, right? That's going to help solidify your interior defense. Obviously, fucking today, Rudy fucking Gobert killed them on the inside, had like 26 points all off of fucking dunks. And then you need shooters. You need 3-and-D guys, right? The kind of thing that Dallas was doing with Luka. And then you have another scorer like a LeBron or somebody, that's okay. Somebody that can score for themselves. But when you were looking at the team today, they just couldn't fucking manufacture offense, right? Especially LeBron. He was terrible today, right? Fucking, he did not perform well at all. His scoring was brutal. Rudy looked like prime Wilton Shaq. Yeah, playing against high schoolers. If LeBron was 5 years younger, Lakers would have gone to the finals. Well, but today wasn't about being young. He still did everything well except fucking score. He couldn't fucking score. He couldn't create off the dribble, right? So that left all the pressure on Luka to fucking create for the team offensively. And then what's his face occasionally would hit a fucking big three. And then you have the rest of the team that, they can't do anything on their own. You have nobody off the bench that can fucking score. Yeah, they need to retool that team a lot. But, you got to think about that team. They haven't really made very good moves the last few years, right? They haven't really put the kind of players around AD and LeBron to really be successful either. Bringing back shitty fucking players like who's that guard, the lefty from fucking Washington. Why would they bring that dude back? They got rid of him. It was the best thing they ever did. And then they brought him back. Fuck, man, that guy's garbage. Then you brought Westbrook in. He can't shoot, so he doesn't fucking even fit into the system. Yeah, they just did bullshit move after bullshit move. LeBron resorts to shooting threes now instead of driving to the rim because he's older. Well, he drove a lot this series. The problem is you can't just fucking drive and you can't just shoot threes. You got to run a fucking offense, man. You can't be like Coach Cal, fucking running the same fucking one play the whole game. Sean Rick Laser report is Justin Hooney, a Jarrell Miller replacement to fight Fabio. Great. I hope that's what happens. I saw there was 2 fighters that were being mentioned, but Justice Hooney versus Fabio Wardley, that's a great matchup. Great matchup. What do you think about Funduro vacating his WBO title to rematch Tim Tszyu? We talked about that earlier. It's typical PBC, man. That's the PBC, right? After all that hype that the people were pushing, Knockout Boxing and others, talking about how the PBC and Top Rank are, dominating American boxing. And them working together is going to solidify them as the dominant fucking promoters in America. It's like, dude, man, fucking PBC did 5 events last year. 5. Stop. Right? They're giving us fucking old refugee matchups. Right? Like, that's what they're going to give you. Errol Spence fighting fucking Mario Barros. Fucking Charlo fighting Plant. Fights that aged out and no one really gives a fuck about. There's more relevant fights right now. Tim Tszyu, who got murked by fucking Murtazaliev, is going to get a fight against Funduro. Like, if that would have happened after the first fight, okay. But now, come on, man. Nobody's excited about that. He was supposed to fight fucking, what's his face? The Puerto Rican kid, right, for Top Rank. That would have been a way more interesting fight. I think the Puerto Rican kid beats him. But this is just, once again, the PBC not wanting to work with other promotion companies to give us fights. Yeah, Xander Zayas, right? It would have been a way better fight. I mean, Tim Tszyu at this point already been exposed. Is anyone going to pick Tim Tszyu to beat Funduro in the rematch? Funduro's going to be better now than he was when he fought him before. When he fought him before, he was coming off of a knockout loss. So maybe he was a little in his head and not so confident. Now he's coming off of wins. He's feeling confident. He's been a champion for a while. He defended his title, right? He already beat Tim Tszyu once, and he saw fucking Murtazaliev beat the shit out of Tim Tszyu. So he's going to get in there and be like, man, I'm just going to fight him like my sister. Jab, 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 boom, boom, boom. Jab, 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 boom, boom, boom. Tim Tszyu is going to get fucking knocked out again, and it's not going to be a fucking elbow to the fucking head. Maybe a knee to the head. Flying knee. I think Moses Atome was fighting a better opponent instead of his non-ranked ex-NFL player. Yeah, I know. But, I think the problem is they're having a hard time getting the kind of opponent that they want for Moses. Because I think people see Moses as dangerous. And at this point, maybe not a big name financially. So they're trying to avoid him, right? But look forward to Moses facing the winner of Justice Hooney and Fabio Wardley for that title, right? That's a fight I thought they probably should have done already, but, had it not been for the cut, I think Tszyu would have beat Funduro. Well, in the first 2 rounds, he looked good. But what version of Funduro was that? That was a guy that already got knocked out by Mendoza, right? Tim Tszyu was at the confidence point of his career. Funduro was at the lower point of his confidence. So it was the perfect scenario for him. This is now the opposite, right? Tim Tszyu been knocked out twice, basically. Okay, knocked out once, bloodied and beaten the other time. I actually think Tszyu knocks out Funduro this time. I thought he was on his way to stopping him in their first rematch. Yeah, I don't think this is the same Tim Tszyu. I don't think it's the same Tim Tszyu, but hey, I could be wrong. And in truth, I don't mind, because if Tim Tszyu wins, maybe then we get Virgil Ortiz versus Tim Tszyu. I don't mind that fight. I don't think we get Tim Tszyu versus Murtazaliev ever again. And I don't know if we definitely not getting Tim Tszyu versus fucking Xander Zayas because PBC ain't working with Top Rank. So we'll see. But here's the link. Let's see if we can get people to jump on and chop it up, give their opinions of this week's boxing and who they think are going to win and what fight cards they're eager to see. I don't know how it works, so let me see how all this shit pans out. So I put a link in. Let me see if it works. Anybody want to jump on? Give it a try. Streaming live and Memorex talking about this weekend's super week of boxing. Hit the likes, yes, people. Help a brother out. You don't have to leave me money. You don't have to buy me coffee, but at least fucking hit the like button. That's the least somebody could do. I do that consistently for people's pictures and people's videos, even if I don't care. Just because I guess I'm Canadian. Fucking what's wrong with Canada? How do we vote in that douchebag motherfucker? Oh my God. Man, Canada, I love my country, but I question people that live there. The way they acted during COVID, fucking a bunch of fucking sus motherfuckers, man. Guilting out their neighbors to get shots and stuff. Oh, cringe. I live in Asia and people fucking weren't as cringe as fucking Canadians were. And now with fucking the government, oh my God, they're more fucking worried about Trump than they are about fucking the dumbasses fucking leading our country into a fucking hole. Vote in somebody that's just going to make you pay more taxes. That's what you want, to pay more taxes. That's why I left the fucking country. And I have a guy I went to school with who's like, yeah, it's good that you left the country. It's like, fuck you, douchebag. Like, the problem is fucking people like you, self-righteous pricks. Canada just had a crazy person run over like 9 people in the crowd. I saw that. The Filipino festival. So it was a bunch of Pinoys that he fucking ran over. They should fucking rip that guy out of the car and let the Pinoys fucking at him. I'm not in a place to where I can do that. You mean leave the country? Yeah. Well, leaving the country, you know. Oh, join the stream, I mean. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think nobody wants to. I don't know if anybody's trying because it's been a while. And I know last time I wasn't sure if it worked or not. So I put the link there, but I'm not sure if people jump in the back room, if there's a back room. I don't remember how it worked last time. I haven't ate nothing in 36 hours. I'm about to murder some Popeye's chicken. Do Canadians believe in Bigfoot? Some Canadians, not immigrant Canadians, but Canadian Canadians, probably not grown-up Canadians, but younger Canadians. When I was a kid, we were driving through from Calgary to Vancouver, so going through British Columbia. Man, I was looking in the mountains all the fucking time through the car looking for fucking Bigfoot consistently. And then we also have the Loch Ness Monster, right? The Ogopogo. So I also went to that lake. I was also looking for the Ogopogo as well. But, you know, kids are kids. We used to have good documentaries and movies and stuff that used to sort of fuel the fire. Also, there was a beer company that used Bigfoot as their logo. So, you know, it's part of the culture, like the beaver and the moose. Sean, do you ever go on any other panels? I haven't been on any in a while. I know that I was supposed to go over. IBFP talked about having me jump on, but I never did yet. And then obviously, what's his face? BDA. And then I used to be on the show. I don't even know if it's still around now. Mike and Gail and them. But yeah, Beats and Rhymes and his boys went over and basically ruined that. So how's the resolution on your camera? Why? How's the resolution on my camera? It looks bad, really? For me, it looks good. I don't know what you're seeing, but here it looks good. But maybe my internet's not so good. As I said, I'm streaming off of my phone. So maybe that is an issue. I'm not sure. It hasn't shown up on my screen. Like it hasn't delayed or been really. Here it looks fine. I don't know what it looks on other people's, but yeah. But as I say, I'm streaming off of my phone because my internet wasn't working. So I had to use my phone. So whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, it's probably the Wi-Fi, probably. When you're like streaming off of your phone on your TV and your computer, there's a little bit of lag here and there once in a while. But thanks everyone for jumping in. Obviously, we're going to be talking about lots of boxing this week. I will be going live Saturday morning and Sunday morning because the times are perfect. So I will see you then. Maybe if you're free, jump on, join, and let's watch the events together. Obviously, the big one from New York, Times Square, which should be really interesting. And then, of course, Canelo making his debut in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh season. So I'll see you there, 6 o'clock my time, 6 o'clock your time. Peace out. Have a good weekend. Ciao.